Well, when a hard drive crashes, the feelings range from disappointment to really devastation.
And it may be hope isn't lost. Skilled data recovery experts may be able to save your family photos and videos, for example.
Schrock Innovations has added new data recovery capability. Here to compute this morning, Thor Schrock. Good to see you, Thor.
Good to see
you guys.
So what kind of equipment are we talking about here? Because if you want to be a real data recovery company like Schrock, you have to have this specialized equipment. What are we talking about here?
Well, you know, basically when you're doing data recovery, every computer shop says, oh, we can do data recovery. And to some extent, pretty much every computer repair shop can. When you're dealing with a hard drive that functions, that spins, it doesn't click, it'll spin up, then you can try all kinds of software tools to get the data off. And that's like the final phase of a recovery. Our objective at Schrock is when we get a hard drive that doesn't spin, that clicks, that doesn't do anything when you hook up the power, nothing happens, we need to get that drive to a point where it is spinning and it is working, even partially, so then we can go and take it through the equipment. Now, if you use the software-based equipment that you can download off the internet, what ends up happening is you might get some of your data back off the drive, but it's incredibly stressful on the drive. And you have a drive that's not working right already. And so if you stress that drive out and push it to the limit, it's going to completely fail, and then you're going to lose everything else that's on the drive. So as far as equipment goes, you know, obviously we have to have a clean environment, clean room,
Do you wear these white suits and go in like a sci-fi movie? Is that
well,
what it
you know,
looks like?
in our service center, we opted for more of a laminar flow bench. So we don't have to have a sealed off room where we walk in with like the Intel suits on and, you know, they're on the moon.
Biohazard suits.
Yeah.
You know, we're not doing that kind of thing.
Right.
But you know, basically it's a box that's an opening about this big on the bottom, and then it sucks air through a HEPA filter and blows it out the bottom, and it keeps the inside of the box clean enough that you're not going to get a dust particle in a hard drive in the wrong spot is enough to cause some real damage. So we can work on it in there, but more importantly, you know, the imagers that we have an imager called a DDI4 imager, and it can spin a hard drive backwards, it can spin a hard drive forwards. If it could spin it sideways, it would. It can go, I can slow the drive down and go nice and steady with it. I can speed up the drive.
So you manipulate the
drive. Oh yeah, you know, there's always a sweet spot, and if you can find a drive sweet spot, even a failing drive, you can really get some good consistent access. So one of the problems we've had in the industry though is these new external hard drives, these little, like the Western Digital passports.
You get a terabyte or a couple terabytes on these things.
The USB 3 connectors on the back, especially Western Digital, thought they'd get really slick. Now normally what these drives are is it's an enclosure. You can pop it open and take the drive out and hook it up to a computer with a regular hookup. Not these. They soldered the USB 3 connection right onto the bottom of the drive. So you can only hook it up through USB. If you can only hook it up through USB, you can't use any of the industry standard data recovery equipment. So we had to go out and actually buy a new piece of equipment that we can hook these drives up to directly that allows us to spin them forward, to spin them backward.
These external hard drives, you know, some people get them because you need that extra storage, and I've got a couple myself. Why do these things fail? Is it getting knocked around and bumped around?
Yeah, external hard drives are incredibly fragile devices, and people think, you know, it goes back to like the days of the floppy disk. Like, if I save my computer, my data in the computer, I know it's in there somewhere, but I can't see it, I can't hold it, I just don't believe it's really there. But if I could save it on this floppy disk, I can hold it in my hand, I can put it in a box, I can write a label on it. Oh, it makes me feel so much more connected to my data. Well, we've gotten away from that a little bit since, you know, the 1980s. But people still have this, it's almost like that you know, genetic tail that we don't have anymore. That people still want to be connected to their data. So if they can put data on a flash drive or on an external hard drive and they can hold that in their hand, they feel safer. But the trouble is, with those external hard drives, if you have it sitting upright on a desk like this, and it tips over on its side while it's running, that's enough to kill it.
Wow.
They're that fragile.
And people does that make a difference which way you set them though? I'm serious, because
I would lay them flat on the table.
To save space, a lot of people do set them up on the
I would lay them flat on the table, and better yet, you know, the thing is with external hard drives, you mentioned they're great because you need that extra storage. External hard drives should not be used to increase your storage. They should be used to back up what you have on your computer. Because I would say over 70% of the recoveries we do at Schrock are external hard drives that have failed, usually from photography studios and places like that where they're dealing with really big files, and we're saying, let us take your computer and let us add some hard drives to your computer on the inside. And that's the safest place for your data. Then we can take these externals and put them on the outside, and then you can use them as backups. You set them behind the computer on the floor in the cord nest back there where they're nice and warm and snug, their little cord blanket, and you can just back up all your data to those.
Blanket.
So if you're
I'm just thinking about our home office right now. Yep, sounds familiar.
Everybody's like cords everywhere.
That way,
yeah.
if your hard drive dies in the computer, you've got a backup. That's the
Yeah.
whole point of having that external backup. But if you save everything on the external and nowhere else, you're actually dramatically increasing the odds that you're going to have a data recovery.
I want to show you the information to get in touch with Thor's team. He has 3 locations in the area. And Thor, while we're looking at this, a quick word about how much data recovery can cost and the
Sure.
amount of time that it might take.
When you check in a drive at Schrock for data recovery, we start that off at $400 is
Okay.
the basic. So it can go up from $400 up there all the way up to about $3,000.
And the amount of time depends on the amount of data?
It depends on the amount of data
The
and the amount of
damage.
work we have to do to the drive.
Well, it's great to have you here, and this is a cool addition. Data recovery, important
Yeah,
to a
good
lot
stuff,
of people.
yeah.
Thank you for coming in.
Thank you guys,
Nice to
appreciate
see
it.
you.
Thanks, Thor. Guests of the Morning Blend start their day with coffee from Pear's Gourmet, the official coffee of the Morning Blend. And to learn more about Pear's, go to OmahaMorningBlend.com. Click on the Pear's logo right on the homepage.
The Boss returns to The Blend tomorrow. Stay tuned to see who else is coming.
That's right, a dash of red in our wintry picture of the day. That's coming up next.